But now, ladies and gentlemen, moving on to our next panel discussion, which is about digital wellness, the new frontier in employee well-being, for which I would like to call on stage our panelist, Mr. 𝗧𝗵𝗃𝗀𝗃, Head Human Resources, NY Cinemas LLP and Devgn Films LLP. Ms. Bhavna Batra, Vice President People and S&P Global. Mr. 𝗦𝗲𝗃𝗃𝗵𝗃, CEO Proflex. Ms. 𝗕𝗵𝗃𝗀𝗵𝗃, Managing Director, Antarmanh Consulting. And the chairperson for this panel discussion, Mr. 𝗘𝘀𝘀𝗁𝗍𝗃, Founder, Indian Conventions and CMD, Tackyon IT Consulting. Can we have a huge round of applause for our panelists? Now I request Mr. 𝗘𝘀𝘀𝗁𝗍𝗃 to please lead the session for all of us.
So welcome everyone out here to be gracious to join us for the evening today. And I would like to welcome my panelists for the day. And the topic that we have is called digital wellness and the new frontier in employee wellness. So I'm pretty dependent on technology, and yesterday what happened was that my phone conked off. So I didn't have access to many things, and people tried to reach out to me. And during this course, what happened was a level of frustration that sometimes was risen. And it was also a realization before taking up this panel that how addicted have we become to the digital things, and this is what we are going to discuss. So with this, I would like to welcome my panelists, Mr. 𝗧𝗵𝗃𝗀𝗃𝗀𝗃, Head of Human Resource, NY Cinemas LLP and Devgn Films. I'll not put the joke here. So next we have Ms. Bhavna Batra, Vice President People, S&P Global. Mrs. 𝗦𝗲𝗃𝗀𝗃𝗀𝗃, CEO Proflex. Ms. 𝗕𝗵𝗃𝗀𝗃𝗀𝗃𝗀𝗃, Managing Director for Antarmanh Consulting. So having said that about the digital fatigue and digital issues that all of us are facing, and we see somehow it has become a part of our culture and part of our life that the kids, they eat food once they watch certain cartoons on their phones, and as adults we are busy on our phones solving the business problems, the challenges that we are constantly facing of connectivity. And something that I wrote on my Facebook day for yesterday was setting in FOMO for everything, that you have to be present everywhere. So that was a realization I was browsing through, and again, what is happening where, what has to be done, what is happening in the world, why do we need to know all that? So there's another term that I came across that is called ROMO. Okay, that's called relief of fingers. That's okay. That's okay if you are not everywhere. Only presence is not our job, that's God's job, let God handle that. So with this, we start our discussion. So I'll quickly request my panelists, starting from Ashish, to just give us a bit about himself and what he feels about the digital fatigue and need for the wellness. And this is, first we'll listen from everyone, then we'll move on to our questions. Ashish, over to you.
Thank you, 𝗘𝘀𝘀𝗁𝗍𝗃. I think the context of the panel discussion is very rightly said. My name is 𝗧𝗵𝗃𝗀𝗃𝗀𝗃. I take charge of HR at Devgn Films ADF Group. So these days, I mean, we all are too concerned about mental wellness. 10 years back, I mean, we all spoke about physical wellness, but mental wellness is, the subject that we should talk and discuss right now. The use of social media, the use of digital platforms in a right way is always welcome. But if we see that majority of the time, the time that we spend on digital platforms, social media, is not on right content. So, education, channels or any knowledge sharing, channels on any social media platform gets a very less views and a very long time to get wide. But if you see a road rage, two people fighting on road, then if we also start fighting here, and if somebody will get a clip out of it, it will be viral in few hours. And so we all are engaged into a very wrong side of the digital platform. So content creators will have to keep these Gen Zs in mind and ensure that the education content is also created in a way where we are able to attract people to be on the platform. Whether we speak about employees, or we speak about our families, use of that social media in the right spirit. Right from the content creation side, to the last, viewership side is something that we should focus on. That's the first step that we need to real, use of digital platform in the right sphere. So we can talk on this for hours, but to start the context, I sum up here. Yeah.
So again, the digital fatigue also comes in when your boss doesn't like any of your posts, which is pretty aligned with your organization. So there are so many things, and they are need for affiliation has grown. You want to be known and stuff. So that's very generic. So we'll listen from Bhavna on what her perspective is.
Thank you very much, Therese. Pleasure to be here with all of you today. Good morning. I'm Bhavna. I work with a company called Standard & Poor, which is in the financial services space. So data is our business, and helping organizations leverage the power of data for effective decision making is what we do. When Therese first invited me to be part of this panel, I was thinking digital wellness almost feels like an oxymoron. It feels like contradictions, right? When you think digital, to me, I think addiction. If you take away, and I will talk about myself and nobody else, if I keep my phone away and it doesn't ping every few minutes, I feel that something is wrong, right? What's happened is my Wi-Fi down, is the network not okay, etc. So somewhere in this world of hyper-connection, how do we really strike a balance between digital and the connectiveness that it brings and the wellness focus? That was one of the thoughts that did the rounds in my mind. I think the other one that did the rounds in my mind is the contradiction that we are more connected today than ever before. If you look at the number of devices, you look at the embedment of internet availability across the world, right? We're more connected today than ever before, and yet the levels of loneliness in the world are higher than ever before, right? And to me, I think this is a subject that we need to speak about more and more, because AI is not taking away jobs. It's just forcing us to upskill ourselves so that we're more relevant. But what this hyper-technology world is doing is also somewhere maybe helping us realize that we are human and human beings need connection. So look forward to the continuing conversation.
Absolutely, and I'll just add something here. The kind of fatigue that has come in and the restlessness that people have. I used to, my school was in Nainital and we are from Lucknow. So I used to take a train from � station. I used to go to school. After that, kahan paunche ho was not the question in those days. It's once you reach your college, and if at all they are able to connect over the common phone that you have in the reception of the principal, that was the only time they could connect. And we used to write an email letter and send across that, okay, we have received safely, and that was mandatory, and our principal used to get that before written answers. So that fatigue was not there. Now,
share an example. There was research that was done pre-COVID. The attention span of a human being was about 15 seconds. Just by way of comparison, the attention span of a goldfish is 9 seconds. Post-COVID, the attention span of a human being is 5 seconds. Right? Think about yourselves. Think about as you're listening, how many times would you pick up the phone and either look at WhatsApp, look at LinkedIn, look at your email? That is all reflection of attention span. And there, the point that you're making.
Now, that reminds me of Dory, if you've heard of. What was the name of the movie? Finding Nemo. Finding Nemo has a character that's called Dory, and the fish doesn't remember anything. You spoke about clown. Nemo is a clownfish. So that precisely that's what's happening right now. Like now I know whatever I'm like. If you look at the reels also, you know what is the context. Your brain is so programmed for everything, and you want something new. It's not, you don't want to look at anything which you have come across earlier. So, rightly put, and
But the point rightly mentioned, initially if we go back to YouTube a few years back, we used to have lengthy videos, on 5 minute, 10 minute, 15 minute content. But people are impatient now, they want to see reels and shorts. And first, videos used to get monetized only when they were 5 minutes, 10 minutes, there was an X watch time required. But now, even reels are getting ads. So, that is exactly matching, these
same is happening with everything in the organizations also. You are writing very short mails, people don't know how to write stuff. So, everything has become one-liner. So, with this, we come to 𝗕𝗵𝗃. And 𝗕𝗵𝗃 runs Antarmanh, and as it says, man in that. So, it's all about consciousness, and she takes care of a lot of people who are into the customer experience and customer management, BPOs, and people who are exposed to constant customer feedback, which is not very good. Like they are on the they get brick-batting all the time. So these are the kind of people she's dealing, other than the great stuff that she's doing. So from your perspective, coming from clinical psychology perspective, what do you think about fatigue?
Digital fatigue is definitely there, we can't deny this. Even if we look at our memory, I think before mobiles we were able to remember some mobile numbers, some phone numbers in our mind. Even if you go today and just check with your hands, after 10 p.m. your hands will not be supporting you as much as it is doing during the daytime. Your grip must have reduced before if you are using mobile for 5-6 years for sure. I am seeing that the stress is coming on neck and people are having numbness. Even 18-year-old, 17-year-old children are coming to us, numbness, and all reports are fine. These are because of anxiety and stress and the mobile addiction. In a corporate setup, we are bound to use these things and we can't do anything without our laptops and mobile. So digital well-being, the major aspect of digital well-being is digital detox. And that's where we always suggest, indeed, we deploy a team there in person so that every 45 minutes or 2 hours we are able to make team members mobilize a little bit so that they are away from their screen and then they are doing certain exercise which is helping their eyesight and other pains to subside. So digital help, but there are certainly so many benefits of providing help through digital means, as we are able to reach out more and more people. We are able to reduce the cost, and top of that, it is reducing the time which clinician was spending on so much of data analysis. So it is improving efficiency of our clinicians. They are more available for human corrections than doing documentation and generating insights. So that technology is definitely doing for us, but digital help has to be for their physical and mental health. So using that as a tool is a good idea, but making that as a resource to resolve problem will always remain questionable.
So with this we'll come to Mayurji to take his perspective. He handles a lot of people in his organization. And from the leadership perspective, how do you look at the digital fatigue that is coming?
Thank you, Tackyon, for having me here, and a pleasure to be among these learning panelists. So, I think fatigue is something which is coming from the within and the way we are receiving things actually. So, how we look at digital, that's very, very important. It's an enabler. Now, if we misuse anything, then anyway it's going to create fatigue. So, this fatigue is coming more from the unnecessary or maybe overuse of the digital. But what our panelists are saying, it's a tool which can connect people, and it is not for leader actually. It is for every member of the team. Digital journey has already started. How we can use it in a more productive way, how we can create collaboration using digital tools. We are all part of many WhatsApp groups, but what we write there, that's very important. And toxicity is something which is created by our ideas and thoughts, which are not for others, rather than they are more driven by our way of doing things. So I think it's more about being human, which Rahul Garu also mentioned earlier in the morning, that how we can use these tools, but at the same time, this human aspect, it has to be always at the forefront. If we dilute that aspect, any tool is going to be of not that use. And creating human connections at a scale, tools are very, very important and they are useful. But then at the same time, are we able to create that real connection, which is empathy? And what we can do today here, meeting all of us here, if we are all part of one WhatsApp group, that connect may not be that way actually. But today we are talking, sitting, meeting, connection is very, very different. So I think that's not, I think we need a good balance on both sides. So leaders will have a role to play in terms of ensuring that people are spending time at the right platforms and they are using it at the right time.
I'll add one small thing here.
I'm connected to all the social media, but I get a different kind of feeling. When you meet these people, you hardly know who they are. And they come up to you and they talk as if, because you're like their host, you don't know who's writing that, you are just like connected. And they come to you, they will talk to you. After say 11 odd years, I was walking around my society and I was seeing emails, so that's the visibility is there, but you don't know what the people who are getting exposed to. That's another kind of fatigue that you get. Like not exactly fatigue, but there's a lot of stress when you're managing yourself in those fronts. Maybe there are people in the organizations who are working large organizations and people feel they are connected to you because you have added them in your socials and stuff, being a part of your social groups or something. But actually you don't know, as already said, that human connection is very important. So with this we now back to our core thing, that digital fatigue, removal of digital fatigue and the business interests. Business, and we put it in the reverse section also, that how business interests are creating the digital fatigue. So we'll just have quick run as 1 minute you can take it up. So I think that this is Bhavna will start this question. She's Bhavna, I would also ask that you spoke about digital fatigue and how this somehow challenging the business interests and how business interests are vice versa. Your thoughts on that?
So I think we have to be very cognizant that at the end of the day, when we look at all of our tools and technology, they play a very vital role. They play a very vital role of helping us drive productivity, efficiency, improve collaboration, truly create connections across boundaries. Right? Today, IHR for the data organization at S&P. We've got more than 6,000 people located across 19 countries. I don't need to travel to those countries to be connected with my people. I can connect with them, I can hear their perspective, right? And that is the gift of technology. But then as a person, how do I also realize that there's a point where I need to strike a balance? And this is where, just from an S&P perspective, I think we are very respectful of small things. So on work day, each person is encouraged to put what their typical working hours are, so that their calendar actually reflects that. So when colleagues are setting up meetings, they are mindful of what are those working hours, because the non-working hours are grayed out. So if you consciously set up a meeting, people will reach out and check, Minister, I'm sorry, I know this is outside of your working hours, but could you accommodate because we're a large group, etc. So that is one small example. And I think the other one is, as individuals, what choices do we make? right? I remember at one point of time, there used to be this entire thing of constantly being connected, fear of missing out, right? Fear of missing out was a very real thing. But in today's day and age where there is hyper connection, I also believe that in organizations people are challenging the information that is coming to them from all sorts of formats that are there, right? We talk about the millennials and the Gen Z and how it is difficult sometimes to communicate with them. The reason for that is that they want, or rather we want, consumable information which we can consume at our own pace at our own time. And that is why organizations are also rethinking our communication strategies so that they are less onerous, so that they are more easily available. So I think when it comes to balancing productivity and human wellness, I really believe that it's about recognizing the value that gets added. But like any strength overdone will create a challenge. Technology overdone also creates a challenge, and we have to be facilitated to people who want to strike that balance, because each one of us needs that balance in our life.
So again, one part that was pretty bad in mathematics. The only thing I remember is profit maximization, 𝗦𝗲𝗃𝗃𝗃. So that's the only thing that I remember. And when you look at the scenarios from the human perspective, plus any other thing that is talking about profit maximization, expansion of businesses, data crunching. Back in time, if you had to go to the library, you didn't have a library at home, and you had access to 5 6 books that you work on. So how important does it become, to maximize the profit? We compromise with our mental wellness, challenges that are there. And that is what I would like to ask 𝗔𝘀𝘁, how important is it for organization? At the end of the day, is it worth being exposed to so much of fatigue? And what can be replacement for the mental fatigue? Just the mental fatigue, and removing the earning profits, but not at the cost of mental fatigue.
So if you look at people who are responsible for profit maximization for any organization, and my answer might be looking a little weak, but I will conclude it. It is very important using these data to know what kind of people you have in the system. For example, the tools which we use, it gives me clear-cut understanding of people, what is their learning style, what is their core motivation. And those who are aligned with profit maximization, I have never heard digital fatigue from them. Because what is important for them, they try to make out time for that, and they manage their time otherwise. They are also into activities and they are flexible in their timings. So routine and discipline are two very different things. Routine helps us to become disciplined, but people who are responsible for profit maximization, they are very self-disciplined and managing their time very well. So once you know your team very well, this is their learning style, it is this motivation, then it is very easy to align the tasks to them. There are team members and we are in 18 countries. Our clients are also in 35 countries, and managing time is a challenge, and we directly write this. These are the working hours and shows that. But people actually are looking to change, they come on meetings, somebody is sitting 2 AM in their time zone, somebody is sitting in some other time zone. So I think there is a pool of change leaders even in each organization, those who come forward for that. So knowing your team well is a key to establish that customized digital wellness or wellness program for your organization.
So coming back to what GP sir said in the morning, that you can't replace the humans. That remains there. That's the reason you exist. The AI tool will not replace you, as you also said. So with this, I'll come to Ashi. Actually, you have a different set of people. It's different skill sets that you might be dealing with on a regular basis. So what are the differentiation challenges that different people have? complexes, you have different workforce out there, then you are dealing with VFX and cost.
So it is very much like every movie was there. Producers believe that this is going to be a super hit movie, and that's how they start their production. So this comes in with a lot of stress. People exert themselves, they work overnight, they work for hours together. That leads to a lot of stress around. So as an organization, what I understand is the uniqueness of working in this case. A lot of people who are having mental health challenge or they are in early stage of mental health issues, they don't realize that they are in this stage. They realize it at the early stage, and if they try striking some balance around the same, I'm sure they can really want to put balance around the same. 10th of October is generally celebrated as World Mental Health Day, so I think organize some session around mental wellness. 𝗦𝗲𝗲 was speaker around the same, and a very interesting thing they did. They came to my office and they gave us a QR code. We also scanned the QR code, and it gave us a small questionnaire, and it asked me some basic question: how happy I have been today, and when was last when you lost your patience, and so on and so forth. And they gave us a score. So that was a very interesting thing. When I browsed the app, I was sad to see that there are so many different types of tests. They give you an another test, they give you a depression test, anxiety test. So as an organization, as an HR folks, we should have some responsibility around people, testing their stress levels, their anxiety levels, and making them aware as to what stage of mental health they are. So that is, I think, the most important thing that
you are right.
Can I just add one, please? I think it's all very well to make organizations villains, right? Organizations exist for the business of profit making, for the business of revenue. And let's not be shy about stating that, right? Let's also realize that when it comes to mental health, by the way, mental health issues have come more to light in the last 10 years. They have existed for centuries. And therefore, we have to be very cognizant that society plays a role in mental health challenges. It's about time that we start recognizing that the challenge of mental health issues don't start when you start reporting to someone. I think one of the previous panelists spoke about how to kill your boss without being caught. I found that hilarious, right? But it is up to you on why you need to kill your boss in the first place. What are you doing to contribute to that situation? I think we have to look inwards, because at home, children are taught if you don't win the race, then you lose out, right? There is so much pressure that is put. Children who are very young are sent to boarding school. What happens there? Isn't loneliness a challenge over there? So while we are holding our organizations accountable, our organizations are nothing but a reflection of us. And it's about time that we started holding our social ecosystems accountable for well-being.
So, boarding schools are fun. Yeah.
I have a point here actually.
I have a question. I'll just come back to the same thing, because you are in the leadership position and you are responsible for that 𝗘𝗃𝗄𝗃 of profit maximization. So, what do you see? Again, I'll come back on the similar thing that in face of digital world, how do you look at, what are the solutions that we can talk about? And you can have your stuff.
So I think let's take the digital aside for some time. I think it's more important that for the purpose for which we are there existence. If we have a strong purpose and people are connected with their purpose, people will love and people will like their job actually. And it will not limit their job. It is something which they like to do. It doesn't matter 𝗧𝗵𝗶𝗃𝗀𝗵𝗃, I think it's something very important to 𝗧𝗵𝗃𝗀𝗵𝗃. So I think this real stress is coming more from the, personal outlook of the individual actually. When you are part of a system, when you are part of a family, so organization has to be family actually. When you are part of a family, somebody is unwell or somebody needs help, you don't look at the time. Same organization. So business, customer or a colleague,
They need help, and you have to, you have to be there. So the wellness comes from there actually. What is causing this environment where we have to start talking about wellness? It is the connection, it is the way we engage people, so it is all about how part actually. So when we say how part, it's all about nutrition, it's all about behavior, it's all about the processes and systems, what we are talking about. So I think if we correct that, wellness के बारे में इतना ज़्यादा सोचना नहीं पड़ेगा.
So the point is connections that you, because everyone I think.
So connections and corrections. Connections with the people and corrections with the behavior. And it has to start with yourself.
So we have quick and moving remarks about what the future is going to be like, and what are your suggestions? We are all great now, so we are elders of society, so probably we can talk about it now. So Ashish, you also learned what we now. I can watch it.
A couple of points to make here, like you said, because Laos had mentioned about integration, which is the most important thing. Maybe we're trying to balance it clear on it. So if there is a complete integration, as you are also right to say, there is no stress. So that is one. The second point I would like to conclude, given this by saying that organizations as employers, we have to focus on creating the right content, focusing on having more traffic on our railway schools. In one of the PHS schools, people all go on PHS select appraisal, but people refrain going on LSS and taking right learnings around. So it's a responsible HR department which will focus on promoting those kind of And one last point is with this fast-paced agriculture which is growing in and around agri sector, there is a little concept which is getting created because of continuous availability of resources. So as an organization, we also need to have certain productivity time tracking tools given to people who are working hybrid, which will give them alarms saying that now we are exerting, now we are stretching, it's time for you to take a break. So things like these we start implementing. We are using AI, tech, and the right sphere for the employee engagement and the mental health.
Your quick voice.
I think two things. One, I believe the biggest gift is time. And time is not only relevant when you are attending a time management program. Just being able to really visualize how we want to leverage our time to create what kind of value, right? What is the value that we're getting from a work perspective, from a relationships perspective, from a personal space perspective, and making time for me, right? Think about it. Someone once got me to do an exercise which I have been practicing for the last 5 years. I put me time on a calendar. I put my time for a walk on a calendar. I put my time for a massage on a calendar. Why? Because I am the most important stakeholder in my own life. And the second we start being unapologetic about this, I think our health and well-being will go up. Because life is not what you put on Instagram. Life is what you live in every minute.
Absolutely. And we, again, I will come back to the home part. Whenever we are finding free time, we are informed. That's another challenge that I face regularly. So over to Seema.
Yeah, so what Bhavna said before, I think once we are visualizing future, definitely we cannot deny using technology as a friend. But second thing is very important is creating social ecosystem, and even colleges, organizations, families, community should be part of it. Then only we can fight with the next pandemic, which is loneliness and mental health. Since youngsters are sitting here, I really wanted to add my favorite line here. I know that there's so much of distraction, but it is very important to know each moment of your life, know whatever is required in the moment, irrespective of how you are feeling. Unfortunately, in the name of self-care, decisions are based on how are we feeling. Decisions should not be based on individual feeling. Decisions should be based on what is required in the moment, and success will be chasing you for sure. One last thing, because you are youngsters, and I really want to say it out all conferences. You will be distracted. There will be so many choices in your life, but whenever you are taking any decision, please keep your hand on your heart and ask yourself, whatever I am going to do, will it help my country or not? You will find your right decision in your heart only. Thank you so much.
So beautiful thoughts are coming. So working on self, taking time out, talking to your heart. I think our Indian philosophy is values. If we connect with that, our answers will start getting from there. We keep on hearing coming out with so many one-line words, and there's so much of a connection we can connect with, the wisdom that has been there for generations actually. So I think if we can connect with ourselves, with the roots, I think a lot of challenges will get settled. And we also have to kind of technology. So I think we have to be blessed with technology. So there are people of our generation, many people, they are finding it very difficult to have technology. And I think for that we need to connect with the younger population, generation. And they are our mentors to have technologies. And it can only happen by way of experience. In my team, I can still find people who are not that high on, adopting technology, experimenting. So it's going to happen. And it's a generational gap. We talk about this generational gap. So all generations have to learn from each other. So this openness, this readiness, this willingness has to be there. So there's the wisdom on the other side, there's the experience on the other side. So both sides will follow it. So if you create an environment where I think that can take this kind of dialogue conversation take place.
So otherwise just asking me to move out of the stage. I'll just conclude by one thing that we, by competing with technology, there's another set of critical critiques that are coming in. What happens when technology takes over and what will happen next? Will I be redundant and stuff? So I always tell people that if you ride a horse, you don't, run alongside the horse. You'll never be able to beat it. So as Mayuri said, we should learn, adapt, and try to overcome the fatigue that has come in, and mental wellness is supreme. Nothing comes over it. So thanks everyone for being here with this panel, and I will hand over the rest.
Thank you so much, Mr. Rizvi, and a heartfelt thanks to all our esteemed panelists for sharing such valuable insights with all of us. But now I would like to invite Dr. G.P. Rao, founder, Good People Relations, on the stage to felicitate our esteemed panel members. I request Mr. Ashish Parpani to please come forward. I request Ms. Bhavna Batra to please come forward. Mr. 𝗦𝗫𝗃𝗵𝗵, please come forward. Ms. Seema Rekha Srivastava, please come forward. Yes, I request everyone to please come forward for a group photograph.